Hey guys, it's Katie here with Life in Mundane. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for coming and checking this channel out. I talk about homeschooling, home management, parenting, and everything in between. So if those are topics that interest you, I would love for you to take a quick second and subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell notification to be notified when new videos come out. Today we are talking all things tots and preschoolers. I'm going to be talking about what our plan is. We have 4 school-age children and then 2 littles that are like 2.5 and roughly 1.5. After so many kids, I stopped counting months and I just stick with years. So hopefully you guys can relate a little bit. But we're going to be talking about what is my plan and why do I feel like I need a plan for that young of kids. I know that some of you guys are probably cringing right now thinking that I have this big lesson plan for them, but I don't, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, and I hope that you guys will stick around to watch the rest of this video. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, I want to say that I got a lot of great ideas and inspiration from Val Harrison's book, When Littles Are Loud. She has so many great ideas. You guys should definitely go and pick up a copy of her book. I will drop links down in the comments so you guys can check it out. But it's When Littles Are Loud, maximizing the moments without drowning in chaos. It's like she can see into my life. I love it. It's so chock full of great foundational principles as well as really practical ideas. Sometimes I feel like with books like this, they can tend to lean one side or the other, and you have to have the foundations of God's truth about your littles and understanding their purpose and their addition to your family and the blessing they are to your family. But you also need really practical things on what to do. So anyways, definitely would recommend go check out her book and grab yourself a copy. These ideas, some of them are off of ideas that I got in her book. Some are my own or tweaking it to work for our family. And this is our beginning of the year. So I'm sharing with you guys what we're planning to do, what I have kind of worked out in my head. And I will do an updated video either in the mid-year or end of year and let you know how close we got to the plan. Because, you know, we're flexible and we know that especially with toddlers and preschoolers, plans change. So let's just dive into a little bit of what our plan is. So if you guys have watched my video on kind of things that we're changing about this year, one thing is that we are doing sort of a 6-week rotation, 5 weeks of a full heavy work schedule for my older kids and then a 1 light week / catch-up week / fun field trip week. All still school days, but kind of setting aside our time in 6-week increments. Because of that, I'm going to stick to the same type of schedule with my preschooler and toddlers. So we are going to do a unit, which I'll explain here in a second, per 6 weeks. So we'll be doing 6-week segments roughly, 5 or 6, depending on how the year goes and how this idea goes. So I'm going to share with you guys kind of what those units are, how am I organizing this, am I showing you guys how much work I'm really talking about putting into this, and just being really honest with you guys about what the reason is for all of this. Also, studies show that the best learning our kids can do at this age, they're sponges, and the best learning they can do is by reading good books, playing outside, imaginary play, and listening to good music, things like that. So these are great things. We're not going to change any of this. This is not book work. This is not flashcards and drilling, and it is not that. This is just taking those natural things and just giving a little bit of direction so you don't waste that precious time. I feel like that happened a lot unintentionally with my older kids. They're all 12 months apart, and there was a lot of chaos in those first years as I have 2 kids who have special needs who it was much more intense when they were littler. And so just trying to keep up with them and just keep everybody alive and fed was enough. And so I didn't always know where to direct my energy to. And I kind of wish I would have enjoyed those moments more, because you know what we do? We want to enjoy our littles. I don't want to just survive this age in this stage and get through until they're old enough to be doing school too. I want to enjoy it and I want to take it for everything it is. So my idea was to simply pick a unit, a topic to cover for a 6-week period, and to enjoy that and dive into that as much as my kids are interested when I have time. So one of the great ideas that Val shares in her book is about setting a timer on the hour every hour to spend 10 minutes with your littles. So 50 minutes of work time with the older kids, teaching instruction, helping them with math problems, but really carving out that 10 minutes every hour to just drop everything and be with the littles. That does not mean that the littles aren't with you the whole other time. Usually my kids are doing math at the table, the littles are there coloring, as well, or, play with Play-Doh or something. So they're still with me, but giving 10 minutes of completely undivided focused attention on them. This helps fill up their bucket, fills their needs, and will help you actually get more done with your older kids. So I loved that idea, but here's the problem. With 6 kids and all the chaos of life and everything that's coming at me at one time, if I don't have an idea or a direction on exactly what I'm doing during that time, it can tend to be wasted. But if I have a direction, I can use that time a little bit better and spend more quality time with them and actually teach them something. So I'm excited to kind of look into this. So what are these topics that I'm talking about? I think that would be helpful before we go on. I've roughly sketched out, and this is always open to changing, that Unit 1, the first 6 weeks, we're going to be talking all about me or all about that child and how they're created in God's image, talking about things like body parts, labeling body parts, 5 senses, working through that, different action verbs, things that they can do with their body, and talking about how they're fearfully and wonderfully made. So that's going to be the first 6 weeks. The second 6 weeks is going to be over my family. So sort of my family, my community, talking about homes, habitats, talking about who are the people in our families, sort of, really easy family tree kind of things. We will then go to community helpers, talking about our doctors and our police officers, our firefighters, our teachers, our pastors, things like that. Talking about our community helpers and kind of understanding their place in the community. The fourth one will be covering weather and sort of the 4 seasons and kind of talking through things like that. And the 5th one is going to be on animals. The last one would be plants. So you can just sort of see they're really broad topics, and you could spend an entire year doing any one of these things. But these are little kids, so we don't need to go super, super deep. And we don't have to have a strong plan of every single thing we're going to do. So what I'm doing is I'm taking those 6-week units and I am just compiling things I already have around my home that fit with those topics. We have storybooks on these things. We have storybooks about how God created us. We have storybooks about weather and seasons. We have things, most people do have storybooks about these things. Also, this gives us a little bit of direction when we're going to the library. For my older kids, they all know exactly what they want. They go in, they get it. For my littles, they always want to check out something like the big kids, but we just get random board books. This way, it gives me a little more purpose. Not that they can't pick out a random, Valentine's book around Christmas time, because that's what toddlers do. But we can also go, hey, we're learning about our bodies. We're learning about our place in the family and our place in society. So let's pick out books like about that. Oh, we're learning about weather. Let's get this one on rainstorms or whatever. So I think that it just gives me a little bit more direction when it comes to things like that. We'll have a basket of books that are sort of in that theme that are readily available, so they can look through them themselves. They can bring them to mom to read to them during that 10-minute window, and they can do things like that. This gives me opportunities when I think of nursery rhymes or fun finger plays or, different things like that I can do with them that I know I can work on it with them at that point. Yes, we do want to touch, a little bit ABCs, 1, 2, 3s kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, mine are on the younger end of preschool toddler age. If you have more 3 and 4-year-olds, then you may want to do more of that, and that's cool. But the idea is just to pick a topic, and it helps your mom brain organize all the thoughts. It's kind of like a Pinterest board for your brain. And so it helps me categorize those things that I know we already have around the house. Is everything going to be perfectly within that theme? No. And my plan is that I'm going to kind of share what we're doing a little bit more specifically with those themes each month. Or each unit, I guess I should say. So I would share one. My next video, I'm going to be sharing what we're going to be doing in September and how I'm kind of tying in those themes to just what we're doing day to day. And then and then I'll have the next one in 6 weeks, and I'll share that with you guys. If you guys want to follow along and do it too, that's awesome. I am putting out a morning playlist. If you guys have watched my video on morning playlists and how we use a YouTube morning playlist, to kind of start our day. I'm putting out one for my older kids, and they will all watch that, even with the littles probably. But then I'll have another one that we'll probably actually do in the afternoon, and that just the littles will go down and do together. And so those, you'll see a lot of those themes that we're doing tied into that morning playlist. And so obviously you guys can do whatever you want, but I'm hoping that by putting that out there and sharing what we're doing, it might give you some ideas. Whether you have toddlers and preschoolers and homeschooling older, whether you have toddlers and preschoolers and no older kids, or whether you have toddlers and preschoolers and your kids go off to school, you still have to find activities and things to do with them. So I really think there's something valuable about picking an idea or a theme to cover for a certain period of time, and then just using the things you already have around your house. I hope this has been helpful to you guys. I would love to know what you guys are doing for your preschoolers and toddlers. Have you guys ever tried something like this? And let me know what you guys think. I'm also excited to show you guys my video for what we're doing in September and October during that 6-week period. And I would love to hear you guys' opinions on that. So be sure to subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified when that video comes out on Saturday. And you can hopefully follow along if you feel like it, or maybe it'll just give you ideas that you want to incorporate with your toddlers in general. So I hope you have a great week, and talk to you later. Bye.